one of the things we want to try to do today, though, is to sort of go back to when you started, just get a understanding of, the early days, how you got your name, how it was like being on a label like Uptown, which was the modern day Motown, had all these amazing acts, and you had to compete to get yourself out there. So anyway, let's go from the beginning. So I know I would assume you're from New York, but what parts?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Father MC, what's up, y'all? To everybody, man. To everybody, what's up? I'm from Brooklyn, born in Brooklyn, raised in Queens.
Okay.
And where I've been, man, I just been chilling, man. To be honest with you,
okay.
I've been enjoying. I went on a tour and I toured everywhere I loved, everywhere that I really loved, and I just start knowing myself, getting to know myself. You know what I'm saying? And I knew the next time I stepped into a studio, it's going to be my masterpiece of work.
Okay.
It's going to be the work that, let's say like Treat 'Em Like You Want to Be Treated, I'll Do For You, or One Night Stand, Everything's Going to Be All Right, Lisa Baby, Affection, 69, all in one album.
Wow.
All of those records and songs were one album, two album, three album.
Yeah.
And I think I've done it with this new album coming out. It's called Black Disney.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to go to different parts of the world and visit. I wanted to go to different cities and states that I've been in, like London, for instance.
Yeah.
When I did the Hippodrome in London, and when I did Wembley Arena in London, it was like, holy shit, I'm here.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't I was Father MC. I was like, Michael Jackson was on this stage. Like Elvis Presley was on this stage.
Yeah.
So it was a shell shock, even like Madison Square Garden in New York, the Yum in Japan. I've recorded on some of the biggest platforms that anyone can do.
Yeah.
And to receive the love from overseas, was enormous. I received the love in the States, and I knew that was coming, but I really was looking forward to seeing, because I heard so much about like London, per se. I heard so much about London will boo you and do everything if they don't like you, right? I get to London and London loved me. They embraced me so much.
Yeah.
But I did see the rough side of London when I was in London. We was on tour, me, Mary J. Blige, and Jodeci, and I see how they held the doors, like Mary couldn't get out for 2 hours because they were pissed off, but they love her now.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, so I seen that side and I was like, wow, this is crazy. But it was better for me because all of the girls came to the hotel after the show and they were stuck in there. So, London was one of my favorite places. Africa, Senegal, Beijing, Gambia.
Wow.
When I went there, Japan. A lot of places did be like, I can't even say but I think I had the most fun was London.
Okay.
Because it reminded me of Manhattan a little bit, and it reminded me of Canada a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think what happened is that the label you were in on, it was such an iconic label. So anything that sort of came out was gold, and the fact that you guys collaborated quite a bit really went down well here. But I think I wanted to get back to, so you born in Brooklyn, raised in Queens. Now, how did the music part of it? Because as I think, you've been known for a Grammy, you've got platinum albums and stuff. It's not everyone can do that. So how did you know that, you wanted to get into music and this being an MC? I mean, how did that come and who inspired you?
Well, everything came from God for one,
yeah.
But I was a bad kid growing up,
okay.
And I had a single, raised by a single mother, my father was in my life though, but they just couldn't get along. So they separated. And I was bad, man. I got kicked out of the district, Brooklyn, by courts. Wow. So they kicked me out. And my mother, they said I couldn't be in Brooklyn anymore. So my mom's had to pack up everything and move us immediately.
Wow.
To Queens. That's where I landed in Far Rockaway. And I'm going to Far Rockaway and I got a different mentality at this time because I'm a Brooklyn kid and I'm in Queens now. So I got a different mentality and, I was sizing everybody up, and then I was like, you know what, man, rapping was a hobby, playing with it. And then when I started like really getting into it, I was like, yo, this attention is crazy. You know, and I think I was bad in Brooklyn because I think I was searching for attention or something. You know, who knows? That was when I was a kid. And when I started rapping, you know, I just became popular and popular. I entered a roller skating contest after Okoye got to know Father, you know, where I was from in Queens.
Yeah.
I entered a roller skating contest, and being that I was so known in New York, I was known in Brooklyn, Manhattan, Queens, Staten Island, Long Island. When I entered the contest and everybody, it was always on the radio. So everyone heard Father, you know, they was called Father MC. I was Father MC, but not without a record deal.
Yeah.
Everybody showed up at this USA roller skating rink, and I won. I won the battle of the MCs.
Wow.
And
now quick question though, the name though, because it is a bold statement to say you're the father MC, to be Father MC. So I mean, it's either people would take offense to that or challenge you with that. But then, I mean, how did the name come about, and what was it like in the early days?
You know, it's funny you say that because I received it all from everything. Like, you the father of MCs. Like, and I'm like, and see, I wasn't a smooth rapper all the time. I was that battle MC. I was that. That's how I won the USA roller skating ring. I grabbed a mic and let's go. Okay. You know what I'm saying? When I signed to Uptown, they changed my image because they said, we think that you, Andre Harrell, God bless him, you know, he said, I think you could be a star. Because to be honest, I had an album that was called It's My Turn and I'm Back before Father's Day. And Andre, it was on Uptown. And I'm excited. They invite me to dinner. I'm excited. Next thing you know, Diddy's there. Bob Celestin, I believe, Kurt Whitley, and Andre Harrell, and Steve Lucas. And I'm thinking like, yo, everybody's here, the record label, we about to shoot. It was a straight hip hop gangsta album. And they told me, I'm excited. And I'm saying, what's wrong? Everybody, I get to the table, everybody all like kind of sad. I'm like, what's going on? So they said, yo, Andre said, I think we can make you a real celebrity, man. I think we can make you a household name. He said, I'm going to do one or two things. I'm going to let you do this album. And it was called It's My Turn and I'm Back. He said, I'm going to let you do this album. The single was It's My Turn. The album was I'm Back.
Okay.
He said, but if it don't work, I'm going to drop you.
Wow.
He said, now you can take door number 2. We want to start a whole new album. You don't have to pay for the album that we recorded. I'm going to do a whole new album. We're going to do a whole new direction. And I'm going to make you the sex symbol that you are.
No, but is that a change though? Because you're talking about being sort of the battle and everything, and he's talking about sex symbol. How did you take that?
I was shocked. I was like, at the meeting, I was like this, like, you know, but then he said, if you try it my way and we fail, I'll exercise the option on your contract and we'll let you do what you do. Okay. But if you don't take it and you fail, we're dropping you. So I'm thinking like, damn, I got best of both worlds. I could try it their way. You know, I was young. I wanted to be on TV. Okay. So I was like, I'll try it their way. And trying it their way worked. But at the dinner, I'll never forget Bob Celestin. He was the attorney. He told me, he said, nigga, it's a part of my language. He said, nigga, who the fuck knows it's your turn? And who the fuck you back from where, nigga? Where the fuck are you back from? I'm sitting there like this, like, oh shit. And then it made sense. He says, do you want to have a Benz in the projects? You could drive a Benz and have it parked outside the projects, or you can have a Bentley and have parked at the mansion. I said, I want the Bentley with the mansion. He said, then you're going to do it our way then. Wow. And I have no regrets. I have no regrets, man. You know, Puff, Diddy, you know, we worked on that album. We were in dance rehearsals. We was doing everything we did. And it was a total rechange, you know. And that's what I loved about Uptown and I loved about the labels, because back then there was homeschool. Like, it was like they were grooming artists to become stars. You know, like Uptown made stars. Yeah. Uptown didn't make, you know, these people I call record labels, sometimes they just were putting out records.
Yeah.
But Uptown was grooming stars, and the way that we got treated and were handled was totally different from a lot of other people, you know?
But then when you joined, you had Guy blowing up with their debut album. You had Heavy, he was making waves. What was it like for you coming on? Did you think, well, these guys are a little too R&B for me, and you know, or did you think, you know, I could learn from them, or what was going on through your mind then?
All of the above. All of the above, man. I looked at Albie Shore. What really got me with Uptown is I seen Albie Shore when he was dressed regular before he blew up.
Okay.
They made, you know, I seen him and he was dressed regular. Around 3 months later, I seen Albie Shore after his record came out at Uptown. He had on this big coat that was incredible. It looked like a Shirley. And I never got to ask Al. I said, yo, how much is that? How much you paid for that? He said, oh, I don't know. I got it overseas in London, I think for 30 grand or something. I was like, I said, I need to be here. I need to be here. This is where I need to be. I'm gonna call this home. And you know, seeing Guy when they came out, they took me under their wing like their little brother. These guys had the Lamborghinis driving in Brooklyn. This is the time when we were at Brooklyn. Uptown was in Brooklyn. Okay. They're driving around like, and I'm seeing them, I'm like, these little young black cats doing it. And I was like, yo, I'm sold. I ain't got to talk me to death. What y'all want me to do?
But then thinking about that, then who were the people that inspired you as a hip hop artist when you were coming up, and the path they were taking?
Big Daddy Kane.
Okay.
LL Cool J, Slick Rick, Dougie Fresh. You know, Special Ed. I mean, Coogee Rap, DJ Polo and Coogee Rap.
Okay.
Eric B and Rakim, definitely.
But then those sounds that were a lot of upbeats and stuff, but you had the hard parts, and that wasn't very common back in those days. So
because at the end of the day, when I knew that Uptown wanted to change me, I had to pay attention to every part of the demographic in the game.
Okay.
There were. I had to pay attention to the hardcore rappers.
Yeah.
I had to pay attention to, and there's no one that was in my lane. I had a clear lane.
Okay.
Even though Kane was a sex symbol, he was a hardcore sex symbol, like hardcore. I came in there, Mr. Smooth, like treat me like, you know, I'm gonna treat you like you want to be treated. I came with the suit on, you know, the manners. I'm raised, baby. Ain't nothing wrong with being raised. You know what I'm saying? And it took to the women, and it was like I was standing up for the women. And it was a very bold statement to say, treat them like you want to be treated, because they, you know, other cats will say, yeah, he a sucker, he a sellout, or whatever the case may be. I'm not going to say the group's name, but I remember I was going on tour, and a group said, man, he does that R&B shit, that R&B stuff, you know, whatever, that R&B stuff sell out. Next year, on their album, they did the exact same thing. The exact same thing.
Wow.
So,
I mean, what about production-wise? What was that like? Because when you go back to the album that you first put out, I mean, were you using more of the hip-hop producers, and then when Uptown said, look, for Father's Day, do
switch, total switch. No artist was on my album on the It's My Turn, I'm Back album. Okay. No producer. No producer. And I was working with like Seth G from Ultramagnetic. I was working with him. On the first album, they got me Mark Morales and Corey Rooney from the Fat Boys.
Wow.
You know, Marky D, Prince Marky D. Yeah. He produced Treat 'Em Like You Want to Be Treated. Wow. And I'll Do For You with Mark Rooney. You know, they went on to produce Mary. They became big producers in the game. Like, for Mariah Carey, Mary J, Jodeci, and the list goes on.
Well, were you enjoying it though? Were you enjoying the R&B flowing over it? Would you think, well, this is actually, forget the money pop, but this actually isn't a bad sort of way of rapping and stuff?
It was cool. I knew my sound was different. I knew I was coming. I knew I was coming. Like on the hardcore album, I was like, I gotta compete with these cats. But I knew I had a lane that was open. Yeah. And I'll never forget when I was at Uptown, they had a DJ thing where they sent records to a pool. and the DJs would write on this paper to the record companies how the record did on the dance floor. And I looked at because I was just inquisitive. I wanted to know what the world was saying about it.
Yeah.
And I looked, and it was nothing but positive, and said, yo, I had to play the record 8 times. I had to play this record. It kept the crowd going, and, you know, girls went nuts over it. You know, it was like I knew I had a combination of myself, Jodeci, the production, the promotion that was going to go behind it was going to be ridiculous. So I was ready for it, you know?
I think one of the things that a lot of people keep asking us about, especially when we look at, you know, we saw the New Edition sort of documentary, we've seen the TLC, we've seen the Bobby Brown, where you've got a big hits, but then the money's not coming in, or unlike the R&B, unlike rap, with the R&B side, they weren't writing their own stuff, so they weren't even getting the royalties from that. Was it hard to just, you know, you've got a label, you've got all this stuff, but to learn the business side? Because I think a lot of people forget it's a business and there's sharks out there.
I didn't have that problem. I didn't have that problem. I didn't have the problem. I wrote every hit record that I had. I wrote every hit record. When I had writers, it was the writers, because I was touring over here and over there. Yeah. So, but no one wrote me a hit record. Okay. Every hit record I had, I wrote, from every hit. And that every hit that I put out, I wrote. Wow. So, you know, you keep it going. As far as with the money and everything, I never had a problem with that. I never had a problem with where's it going, where is it coming, you know. And I always said to myself, I signed this deal, so I'm responsible for everything that takes place after. Yeah. You know, and I got treated very fairly. I wouldn't, you know, I invested well. I invested well. You know, that's what makes me, you know, people think that, you know, I came out with a record recently because the way I live. Yeah. You know,
but I mean, what made you different? Because it's not very common. Because what you're saying isn't very common. Because a lot of people just, you know, it can get to you, like the fame, the money, and everything comes. And if you're not used to it, it could go quickly. But what made it different for you? How did you just think, you know, I need to invest well, I need to be careful, I need to know that they may give me an advance, but they're going to get it back, so I need to be careful what I'm spending. I mean, how did you learn that part? Was it your early deal that you had?
Because it was my early days. When I got in, I knew ICM was International Creative Management Team. That was the company that would throw us on tour. Okay. So I became real close with them. So anytime I needed money or something, like a large amount of money, I'd be like, yo, you know, Mark Cheatham, Mark Siegel, they were the presidents. I was like, yo, find me a tour, man. And I want to make $1 million. Find me a tour. They find you a tour, put it together and see if it works for you. Yeah, all right, so you're going out for 4 months, father. Get prepared. So I already knew I was coming with it. And then what I do is I take a loan from them. So it would be guaranteed money because they got half of the money in. We got to pick the other half up on the road. So what I do is go to them and say, okay, now you guys got me that $1 million. All right, now I need a loan against that $1 million. So they got to give it to me because I was their artist. I was working. So, and I was steady working, and they couldn't refuse me because they already had half of the $1 million in already. The ticket was already there. So that means they had to keep working me. So when I go get the loan, I'm paying back not only their 10%, I'm paying back another 10%. So now it's 20% because they're getting off of that loan until it's paid back. So not only when I go to do the tour, I'll still get paid. When I come home, they still gonna work me because until that tab is paid off. Yeah. And a lot of people didn't know there was ways to get around stuff and do stuff. You never had to. You know, I see all these TV shows where, you know, I'm broke, and you got to understand one thing, man. I've never been an artist to say I want to blame somebody, because the power is in the pen. Yeah. The power is your decisions on, I want to go, you know, they see artists, and we all, and I blame myself too, we all are artists, and we see the fame, we see the money, we see the cars, the women, the men, the girls see the men. Yeah. At the end of the day, the power's in the pen. We still have decision on who we're going to pick as our attorney and what we're going to do. So if we're not like, if they say like, yo, they took advantage of us. How could they take advantage of you when the paperwork is right here? And you paid this guy to look over your stuff. So who's at fault? Really, it's you. If you don't renegotiate, see, once I blew up, I started learning the game. So I start renegotiating whatever you guys got from me, robbed from me in the first contract. Y'all want me back in that studio. So this is what I want. I'll tell my attorney what I want. They'll come back and they'll negotiate and negotiate and negotiate until I got what I wanted. And I wouldn't touch the studio. I didn't make it an argument with the record companies or, you know, to be like, you know, F that. I ain't make that. It's simple. It's an understanding that needs to be understood.
Yeah.
I want X, Y, Z. I'm selling records. I'm keeping these lights on in this record company. Give me what I want.
Yeah.
And if you can't give me exactly what I want, you're going to damn near come close to it.
Okay.
And it made sense, you know?
And I think that's, yeah, I mean, and what you're saying is what I guess a lot of artists sort of didn't really go into. They go in and see their music videos, they're on tour, and they just forget the business side and not write their own stuff. Like you said, I did look through and I saw that your big hits, that you were the main writer and stuff like that. So it's,
you know, and it's your team. It's your team. I had Steve Lucas was part of the management. I had Frank DeLeo, who were Michael Jackson's manager.
Wow. Yeah,
he was my manager.
Yeah, with a cigar, right?
The cigar, yeah. He was in all those gangster movies. Frank DeLeo was my manager.
Wow.
So it's like you got to pick who you run with to play ball and know, like, I can't get this guy off the street because the industry ain't gonna really respect him, but I want to rock with him. So I got to get somebody that they know and respect. Michael Jackson's manager came to me. I never went out looking for them.
Wow.
So it was a difference. And when they came looking for me, I was hands up like, yo, yeah. I told my manager, play ball, let's go. Wow. And it opened up more doors for me on a different level. Yeah. And when I say, you know, I already sold pop. So they already took me pop. MCA took me pop. But getting with Frank DeLeo, Michael Jackson's manager, took me over here.
Wow.
Like I was already here with MCA. Uptown, I was here, like going good. I thought I was the best. MCA, when I crossed over to go pop, it went here. I was like, okay. When I got with Frank DeLeo and Michael Jackson's manager, it went like the world. Like,
how did you keep grounded in the midst of all this? Though, what was the stuff that grounded you so you didn't sort of go over the top and think, you know, the world is mine?
God.
So, okay.
God. You can't lose, man, when you got him on your side and you really have faith and you believe in him. You know, I'm not a preacher. I'm not trying to preach to everybody and all of that. Yeah. But when you on that tour bus and you going through them cities and them states, and, you know, it's you and your crew. The only thing and when they all sleep, the only person up is God in the tour bus driver. And I used to sit back and I used to see the signs going through like Mississippi in the nighttime. Wow. KKK. I used to see, and I didn't think that existed. I was like, oh shit, please do not break down right here. You know what I'm saying? I was like, but it was talking to God, man, and knowing, you know, I had my mother in my ear because I'd always call her. Yeah. You know, I was expecting a kid at that time. On my first album, I was expecting my first daughter, Brittany. So it was like everything was a new experience. Becoming a father, becoming a platinum artist, a worldwide international star. It was everything. It was crazy. Yeah. You know, they're doing a movie about us right now, right?
No, you know, I can't wait. I definitely can't wait to see all that. I think the question then becomes, because we're going to move on to Black Disney and stuff, but when you look back at your Uptown singles and stuff, which would you say would be your favorite of all the stuff you put out when you're on Uptown? Which one would you say, you know, this is number one?
For me, my personal favorite, One Night Stand.
Okay.
One Night Stand with me and Mary J. Blige. Nah, baby. All you want from me is one night stand. Yeah. Nah, baby. That was my favorite. That was my favorite. And then, of course, I'll Do For You. Treat 'em was my baby. Treat 'em like you want to be treated. It's always going to be my ultimate because it was my first.
Yeah.
You know, but it just got better. It just kept getting better. Then came Everything's Gonna Be All Right. Then Affection. I Beat You. You know, then 69 was the change of the game.
Yeah, what happened with that? Because you know, I'm a massive Teddy Riley fan. So when he produced 69, I was like, oh, Teddy's on this. But you kind of changed because that was your first R record. So what happened with Sex is Law that you could have? What happened?
Man, you know what's crazy? I was growing as an artist. And I still was that cool Father MC, humble dude. But I was like, all right, Father turning into a man now. So Father's like, instead of, I want to hit the booty, I want to get the booty. You know what I'm saying? So that's what you do when they take me. I couldn't write 69 at first, right? So they put me on the beach and put me with a radio and said, write whatever you come to mind. And I'm seeing all these guys having fun on the beach with chicks, and I'm sitting there with a pen and pad, and the first thing that came to my head was 69. So I'm horny, I admit it, I get psycho when I'm licking. Boom. It was crazy.
Oh my goodness. And then what happened with so did you take the lyrics and meet up with Ted, or how did that sort of?
No, he had when I got to Teddy Riley's studio in Virginia, me and Butt Naked Tim Dog, he was my A&R at that album. We got there, I drove. I had just bought a brand new Benz, and we drove from New York to Virginia. And we get up, I never forget, we pull up the Teddy's, the Future, and we pulling in, and you see them, Rump Shaker, Rex in Effect. We see them outside, and the big bodyguards, and they all gambling. So now I'm a gambler. Everybody Father MC is a gambler. I'll be in Vegas, like that's my second home, And I'm like, get Teddy. Like I got 100,000. Let's go. Come on, woo. And we gambling at first, and then Teddy's used to people coming in and, oh my God, Teddy. I was gambling money. Like, I'll see you in a minute, homie. I'm gambling. I'm a New York cat. So we get into the studio when we have to sign disclosure.
Huh.
Like, you can't talk about what you see go on in the future, all that BS.
Okay.
At the end of the day, we got there, and me and Teddy, when it was me and him, he had all his producers, and that's when I met Little Kim. Little Kim was there. She was not dating, seeing Ty Fife.
Okay.
Tyrone Fife. He was the producer on my album.
Teddy. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And she was there with her mother. And she wasn't Little Kim. She wasn't Little Kim at that point.
Oh,
and
no Biggie. Okay.
No Biggie, nothing. If you notice, I was the first one to put her on a record. Once she gets pumping, it's hard to make the hottie stop. On Sex is Law, you'll see that. But we had her. She was moaning and doing all the moaning and all that stuff.
Wow.
At the end of the day, I saw her, and me and her always looked at each other like, we had a little thing going on in New York. After that, I was at Nell's, this club where everybody used to party at, and I'm there and I'm chilling, and I see her, and I said, I know that girl from somewhere, but I couldn't remember her. She came up to me and like, straight up, what you doing? What you doing tonight? Who you here with? And I was like, yo, I'm good. Whoever I came with, don't worry about them. They'll get where they gotta go. And me and Kim became real close. Let's just put it like that. We were very intimate, and we was into each other. And we had a good time. It wasn't no, you better not. It was what it was. Yeah. And we knew straight off, and it was what it was, and me and her used to sit in my house and talk about Biggie and Craig Mack, God bless. Used to talk about them, and Craig had Flavor in Your Ear. I'll never forget this. And Kim was like, Biggie is coming, baby. Biggie is coming, daddy, I'm telling you. And Juicy was coming, but it wasn't in New York. Flavor in Your Ear was like a piece of dynamite.
Yeah.
Like, my God. And he getting nominated 4 times for a Grammy and everything. And I'm like, Craig is here, babe. I didn't see anyone. My parental didn't allow me to see anybody that was bigger than Craig Mack, because that single was just enormous. And Biggie, God bless Big, he came and he creeped up. But after that, boom, it was over. It was over. And Kim was right. She had the faith from the beginning.
Wow.
Only reason I didn't doubt Biggie's success. Don't get me wrong. I doubted that. I thought Craig was gonna go even higher because that flavor in your ear was just incredible.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
And then when Biggie caught on fire, it was it. And that's just showed me the brilliance of Diddy, of being brilliant. Diddy gave Craig Mack the here and now.
Yeah.
He gave Notorious B.I.G. life.
Yeah.
He gave him the experience. Like, I'm showing you, I'm grooming you. Yeah. You're gonna end up winning bigger than anybody.
Yeah.
And that's what he did.
Going back to '69, was that where did that record go to? That because you did it go differently for you? Because I mean, as I said, that was one of the, because of Teddy. I remember that track really well.
I remember getting a phone call and saying that it went platinum, and then I remember we were happy. We were going to Atlanta to do a party, and I'll never forget, Jimmy Love got a phone call from some lady, because you know Atlanta's the Bible Belt. So he got a call saying that some lady from church, a church lady, said she heard 69 waiting on a son get out of school or church or something, and called the radio station and said she's gonna have a whole church go and ban the records. And I'm thinking, you know, you got 69, but that's when you had I Want to Go Downtown,
yeah,
SWV, yeah. You had Somebody Knocking the Boots.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying, look, I'm horny, I admit it, I get psycho when I'm licking. I'm poking the panani, in other words, I'm sticking. You had other records like I Want to Taste You, I Want to Get In Deeper, I Want to, like, fuck you, basically. And I'm just like, I'm being subliminal about shit.
Yeah.
And it did what it had to do, though. It did what it had to do money-wise. You know what I mean? As fame-wise, I was tearing down every building they was putting me in, from the Apollo to when I did Madison Square Garden with 69. It was over. It was over. I ripped the Apollo. I mean, I ripped that Madison Square too as well. I ripped them two places down. That was my home. And every time I touched that stage, I was scared of the Apollo, but I knew I had no idea. I just knew probably because I grew up on the Apollo.
Okay.
And I seen stars get booed.
Oh yeah, Sandman, all that. Yeah. They're hard.
Yeah, so I'm looking at it like, oh shit. Every time I had to do the Apollo, I was nervous.
Wow.
Going to do 50,000 Madison Square Garden. All right, let's go. Let's pray. Let's get on the stage and do what we gotta do.
Yeah. The
Apollo is let's pray. Let's touch the stone.
Yeah.
Let's not miss it. and do same thing with Wembley. Same thing with Wembley.
Yeah.
Let's go. No fear. 18, 20,000, no fear. Let's go.
Wow.
Hippodrome, same thing. Let's go.
I mean, coming forward now, though, because as I said, a lot of people started to wonder, you know, where you've been, and I guess it's hard to imagine that to compete with every music, you know, there's so much out there to continually be on top. And so when we don't see anyone, any celebrity, you could be even Denzel, we haven't seen him in a movie in 2 years, we'll ask, where's he at? So it isn't that hard to understand people's wondering, where's Father MC? We haven't seen him, we haven't heard him. At that point, when you were sort of touring and sort of taking a break and reevaluating stuff, was there need? Did you miss the sort of being on stage and promoting a record and stuff, or was it a sense of, you know, I need this time out right now because things happen so quickly?
I didn't miss it because you got to understand, when you're an entertainer and you're successful entertainer, you're always on stage.
Yeah.
You're always on stage until you go to bed and wake up. As soon as you hit that, you're always on stage again. You know, the competition, I never worried about that, to be honest, because I made records from the heart, though.
Yeah, competition. It's just, you know, there's a lot of music coming out. I mean, it's just a lot to on it.
Right. No, I get what you're saying. And you know what? I always just made records. I made records like to Like, look, I just did this last night. Check this out. Say that I'm the problem, I say that I ain't. Cats ask me to dumb my shit down, I can't. Wait, dumb my shit down, wait, that's the problem. I go full contact on any album. My style is a drop, so rude with it. Cats got burners, but they'll never shoot it.
So this is you making new stuff, or is it for Black Disney?
This is for Black Disney on the album.
Okay.
You know,
okay.
I got, you know, I got records that like, did my manager send you anything?
No.
Oh, I'm gonna have him send you. I'm gonna have him send you, you know, some joints, like some joints, like, you know, I'm like, you ever saw the movie Notorious with Blige?
Yeah.
This is how I could describe this album. I was in my studio, and when in that movie Notorious, when B.I.G. was there and he was in the studio and he was playing Sky is the Limit, and you know, he was playing that record with 112, and he just was like, yes, laughing and enjoying it because he know he did it. He know he came, he's here. That's how I feel about Black Disney. That's how I feel about Black Disney.
So with production-wise, now, did you decide to reach out to the old producers and stuff, or did you decide, let me do it myself, or what did you do with production?
I messed with Teddy. I messed with a couple of other old producers, but to be honest with you, I like the stuff that I've done. And I'm not saying it because it's me. I just like, I knew subconsciously in me, in my psyche, I knew I wanted to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Even when I was at Teddy's house and in his studio, you know, and all the other producers, I'm saying I like it, but you know, when I became a producer, it was like, yeah, okay, you know, like, but before I became a producer, I was like, yeah, oh shit, oh my God, tear that. But now as a producer, I'm like, all right. And then it makes me come back to my lab and get on it and do what I do. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I'm making beats. The beats I'm making, I make like when I know when I'm gonna pause on a record. Yeah. Or go down. I'll make the snare go down with me. I'll make the kick go down with me or come up. You know what I mean? So and I play with it. So when I start writing, I'll be playing with it. Okay. And I wrote my album like it was an instrument.
Wow.
You know?
For some reason this stuff is going to cut me off in a minute, and I don't know if it cuts off, if we just log back in, so I can just, because I wanted to get a little bit more about the album, and I guess because a lot of people really want to get a sense of what you're writing about now, because back in the days it was more the relationships and more the women and stuff like that, and whether you've decided, you know what, let me, and a lot has happened over the past, you know, Corona, Black Lives Matter, a lot of violence and stuff, and I don't know if that shapes your music. So yeah, no. So regarding Black Disney, I mean, I guess people want to wonder why, you know, Black Disney, you know, why you chose that name, and then what's the idea around it?
Black Disney, I always thought was a like, I love Disney. I love Disney. So what I wanted to do was I pictured Disney as Black people, how I saw it, like a whole bunch of people. But I'm sorry guys. But yeah, so I always pictured it to be, you know, a power thing. And I just saw in Disney World a lot of powerful Black players. And I said, well, you know, if I ever come back, I'm just gonna let everything that I didn't do that I wanted to, I'm doing it now. The album, I'm still writing about the women. I'm still letting the street cats know, you know, like, yeah, let's go. I can rock with y'all. Let's go. Yeah. And then I'm just really having fun with it, man. You know, album's not directed to anybody. It's straight up having fun. Listen to it. It's gonna take you on a mood, whatever mood you in. You're gonna see it. You're gonna feel it.
I mean, a lot has changed since when you were Uptown and everyone big onto big with labels, and I remember seeing Steve Stouch on Breakfast saying the Breakfast Show saying that there's no need going back to make labels anymore, giving them 20% when you can stream and do all the stuff yourself and really keep the stuff yourself. What's been with Black Disney? Are you going independent? Are you going solo? Are you going through majors? Or what's your thoughts about what you're going to do?
I'm being courted by a lot of labels. I'm being courted by a lot of independent subsidiaries, and I'm courting the idea of just doing it myself. You know, I'm dropping in September, so something's getting ready to happen. So we can really figure it out. We were just on. It's crazy because I was on the phone. I was on the phone with like my company, okay. And we were talking about the tour bus. My marketing guys were talking about getting the sponsors to sponsor the tour bus so we can get on this road and go. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm in the process of building a house. I'm in the process of me and my lady doing a lot of stuff. So it's crazy, you know.
Wow. Are you ready to go back on the road? I mean, is it?
Yeah, but like I told them earlier though, it's gonna be a different thing. This is a lifetime thing for them. So every dime they make, they should put it in the bank. Not have fun with it like they did. We're gonna do more grown and sexy stuff. We're not gonna, we're gonna just ride with God and see what happens.
Yeah.
See what happens. The world know how I get down though.
Yeah.
The world know how I get down in and outside the US.
I mean, are we going to see, because the track you played was really, it's a really sort of, I won't say hard, but it's hip hop.
Yes,
but
sir.
Are you going to stay in that lane, or are you going to try and go back to and sort of get your R&B fans and say, it's something for you, something,
Oh man, listen, I got this joint, let me see something real quick. Watch this. I'm gonna show you something. Like, this record goes to all of the hard, heavy core Father MC fans. All right, check it out. You know I'm flawed, but you love me. A lot of times you're wrong, but you love me. Yeah, first we started kissing, then she realized what was missing. Missing me turned into some dissing. In the intermission, started listening. Yeah, like baby, what you got to say? Then I tell you that you move like Beyonce. You got that, yo, baby, swing my way. Lip to lip, action that's foreplay. You like yours, you like mine. You like skinny, what you do behind.
Did you produce it yourself, or who did you get to produce it?
Me, myself.
Wow. So why do you go outside then?
I wanted when I did go outside of me, I wanted something else. I was searching for something else. Okay. Sometimes I want somebody to give me something so I can attack it.
Okay.
But then when I go to somebody else, and like Jay, my management was giving me a whole bunch of funny records, like, like retarded records to do over. And I was like, yo, what are you giving me, man? Like, it was crazy. It was nuts. So I said, yo, and then our homegirl, Patricia, she was giving me records in the middle of the night. And I was like, okay, I know what I got to do. I know what I got to do. But we came with a lot of that's what I'm saying. Like, the journey of Black Disney was just, it's accompanied by a lot of people. A lot of people, ideas. I'm not a what I say go type of dude, unless I'm firm on it. Yeah. But it's accompanied by a lot of people, and a lot of people I listen. As much as they think my company don't think I listen, but as much as they think I don't listen, I do. And when I do, I go back, and I'm the hardest critic on me, myself, and I. So when I'm listening to my album, I'm like, yeah, this needs a new verse, or I need to flip this before it's done. It could be mastered, and I'll go and write the first half and say I don't like that on the first half, and go make it a whole nother first half, and then have my engineer come and mix this record back. You know, so it's a lot of, you know, before I had other producers doing all of that. So I learned from the best as I learned, and my administration and the attention that everyone else gave this album made this album what it is. I can't sit down and say I cold-heartedly did this by myself.
Yeah.
You know, well, I really could, but.
Were any of your old friends from back in the day, hip hop friends, that you wanted to collaborate with and bring on board?
I did, but I didn't. I did, but I didn't. We still got Mary in the loop. You know, I was getting ready to do a record with Case, but that's a whole nother story. You know, that's some retarded shit. You know, I mean,
like hip hops, because you mentioned Kane and Rakim and stuff. I mean, any of those sort of hip hop guys that you wanted to have spit a verse on your album?
You know what? I the only one that I'm going to remember Fat Doug. He was signed to Uptown for a quick second, but he the one who rapped on "Come and Talk to Me."
Okay. Yes.
Me and Fat Doug have been talking, and I just got to get the record to him, and doing that, you know, and a lot of other cats. But it's like, I want the records to mean something when you come on my record.
Yeah.
You know, I want the records to be about like, okay, you know, I'm looking for a female rapper that I want to put on my album and close the door on the album. But she got to be fly. She got to be fly.
It's coming out next month. Are you still? I thought you were releasing next month.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We're gonna drop the single. The single.
Oh, the
we're
single,
definitely dropping the single. Yeah, we're definitely. You know, the album's not coming until like the beginning of December.
Okay.
You know,
okay.
We're shooting the video. We were talking about on our conference. We're shooting video, and we're taking a photo shoot. And you know, I have a podcast. It's coming out. It's called Uptown Beyond. Okay. You know, and it's me and Jimmy Jenkins. Jimmy Love, he was the president of Uptown. Yeah. And we're interviewing all of the Uptown, even before I got to Uptown, like Nessus and Quist, you know, everybody, Heavy D's brother, everyone, from them to Naomi Campbell to Mary to Puff. I mean, everybody. Wow. You know, and then we're going beyond. That's when Dre moved to California. And then he started messing with like his movie star friends. Okay. So, and we're doing that right now. We're in our 9th episode, and we're being sponsored and stuff like that. So that's going to be really huge. That's going to be really, really huge. It's called Uptown Beyond, and we're putting a lot. We got a lot of things that's going on. That, you know, the movie Uptown, you know, is coming out next year. It's coming out, but they're in process of doing everything right now to get it prepared. You know, I'm curious to see how that turns out.
Yeah, you know what is amazing, just as we're wrapping up, is the fact that you know, when we see you, the stage version of you, you know, the rapping part, we don't see the business side of the things. I mean, I think and that's one of the things that a lot of us, we just see you on stage, you buy albums, but not realize that there's a businessman there. You know, you've got all this stuff in place, and I think that's where people start wondering, if we don't see you perform or release his stuff, the stuff is going bad. We're not realizing that, you know, you've got stuff in place. I remember seeing Master P talking about, you know, he you know, things aren't even bigger than before. You know, you don't need to pull out a record to make money, but you invest in all this stuff. And hearing what you're saying about all these different projects, I guess, you know, and I guess I never got to the point, where did I come from? Because, you know, you spoke about Brooklyn being, you know, getting into trouble and stuff like that, moving to sort of Queens, but learning the business side of stuff.
Uptown. I work with the best of them, from Russell Simmons, Clive Davis, you know, Chris Lighty, God bless. Andre Harrell, my mentor, everything to me. To just learning, like Mona Scott, Violators with Chris, Puff, Diddy, Jay-Z, Dame Dash, all of them. I
So
was
you're
around.
watching and learning.
I was watching. Even Teddy Riley, watching him in the studio, watching how they did it. Because I knew I never was a yes man, and I never was a to-do. I always wanted to do it myself as well. And learning it was my pleasure. It was like, I love giving things life. Like if you notice, everybody I put on my albums all made it.
Yeah.
Everyone. Mary J. Blige, still relevant to this day.
Yeah.
Jodeci. KC just put out his record last week.
Yeah.
You know, you got, who else? Horace Brown, you got
Hollister.
Dave. Huh?
Yeah,
Dave Hollister.
Yeah,
Dave Hollister, he sung on my album, Lisa Baby. You know, Intro. I was the first one to put them on Close to You.
Yeah, that was gonna that's a different, all different levels.
Anthony Hamilton. I mean, the list goes on. Crystal Johnson. I mean, the list goes on. I always was like, yeah, let's give them a shot. Now, I'm not saying that they blew up because of me.
Yeah.
But hey, if you write time, if you go back in time, you know, Mary J was on Jeff Redd's record. And nothing happened with that. And then she jumps on Father MC record and she's out of here.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Same thing with Jodeci. Out of here. So I don't know if I got the Midas touch or I'm just that dude. You know? But the thing that made me, besides Uptown and God, of course, is the fans, man. The fans. Because I tell people, and I say this, and I mean this so cold-hearted, without them really supporting, none of us would be nowhere.
Yeah.
You know, it's not about the dough. It's about the learning, the experience, because it's more fun. The dough is dope. Let's not get it twisted. I love to gamble. So the dough is right. But when the fans, when you really, you know how many people come to me and say, yo, I heard I made my kids off of you. I'm like, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Like, you know what I mean? And I think I done made some last week. So
yeah. You know, but last question I have, and I always ask this to my guests, is that if you were stuck in an elevator for a couple of hours and they say we could go to a movie for you to watch, what would you put on? What would you want to watch if you were stuck for 3 hours and you could watch a movie?
That is a dope question, yo. That's crazy because you know what I love, and I got a few, but shit, damn. Meet Joe Black.
Okay.
Meet Joe Black.
Wow.
That's crazy.
The Brad Pitt one.
The Brad Pitt joint.
Wow. Okay.
Meet Joe Black is crazy. I mean, every time I love Ghost. I love Ghost with Whoopi Goldberg.
Yeah.
You know, but I love the black films too, like, you know, Which Way Is Up and stuff like that. But ultimate is Meet Joe Black because it tells you a lot subliminally.
Wow.
Like, you know what I mean? And then I thought Meet Joe Black was the devil was fucking this guy up, man. And if you look at it, how he started getting his heart and was like, boom. And then somebody talking to you, scary. I'm like, the devil coming for this dude. And it was God's angel. It was his boy.
Yeah.
And when he was at dinner and he said, I'm here. Oh, you're not going to invite me for dinner? I mean, it's so crazy. I tell Jay all the time, he got to sit. You got to have patience for that. But when it hit, it got you. Did you see when he was in the hospital and he said, the Jamaican lady said, oh my God, phobia. And he says, me not phobia lady, me the good guy. She said, then what you do here? I said, oh shit.
My goodness.
You know,
so that's your movie.
Yeah, I want to go to that place. I love that lady, the Jamaican lady. I just fell in love with her spirit.
Wow.
You know, man.
That's okay.
Sometimes you gotta right all your wrongs to make one right. You know what I mean? And you gotta say to yourself, we in our third. I always say this, and you can take it because I know you're gonna steal it from me anyway.
Okay.
I always say life is like a dollar bill, and you have 4 quarters. We're in our third quarter right now. Okay. We're living in our third quarter. The next quarter is, you know, whatever you make of it. But we done had our fun. So now it's time to really have fun.
Okay.
It's not time to not enjoy one another as humans.
Yeah.
You know, I tell people all the time, travel, man, enjoy yourself. Like, get out there, go see the world. I was fortunate that I could, and I was fortunate that I could take 15 people that never would have saw outside of Queens.
Wow.
You know, and that was God.
Yeah.
And for you guys, when I saw you guys say, out of 6 months, you had all of these artists, and I was the most. What did you say? I was.
Yeah, I mean, most likes and comments, which was surprised. As I said, this was New Jack Swing Classic, and yours was the one that everyone was like, "Oh, I love this joint" and everything like that, and I was really surprised by it because it wasn't the most popular of your tracks, but they still connected with it. So yeah.
Yeah, because I used to, when I was on tour, I used to always, like, I never was the, let me rush to the room. I get out there and talk to people. I remember in London, me and KC was on the tour bus, and there was these 3 girls, beautiful girls too. And we're like, let's see who they waiting for. Now, KC put on his hat and everything, and he walks out with Mook, his bodyguard, and the girls was like, ah, KC. So I'm like, okay, he won. He's in the hotel now. They still waiting. Oh my God, Father MC. I was like, you know, I had to do my little LL half Big Daddy Kane, lick my lips a little bit. You know, and then you know, they came with me, and you know, we hung out and wilded out. But you know, London, I always say London, I had a blast because it was like I was Father MC, but I was one of them. And the same, I'd come downstairs at the hotel, and my bodyguards used to get so mad at my management team because I'd be talking, sitting with the people.
Okay.
And I think they understood me more personally. You know, and it's funny when you get to really sit and chill. I'm in the lobby with my PJs on and some Timberlands, and I got a cigar and a robe, and I'm talking to y'all and kicking it. And all you hear is, I can't believe he's here with us. Like, I can't believe it. You know, I'm here. I'm y'all. I'm here because of y'all.
Oh my goodness. Hello?
Yeah, this is the first time I ever had an interviewer speechless.
Yeah, no, sorry about that. No, you know, the final thing, because you're in the elevator, you picked Miss Meet Joe Black. If you had a song, because they're about to put the movie on in the cassette, and they say, okay, what song could we play before the movie comes on? What would you pick? Any song, any artist?
Bob Marley. Rastaman vibration, yeah. Okay. That's my joint. But I don't listen to a lot of hip hop, man. I don't listen to a lot. I listen to vibe music, man. It could take my brain somewhere totally left field, man. You know, I'm into the music, so I do all that music. I don't do Caribbean, like Jamaican, you know, and I love it because my moms used to listen to it as we were growing up when she cleaned the house and burned her incense. So everything that I was raised on, I end up loving at the end of the day, you know? Wow. But yeah, Bob Marley, Lenny Williams. Like, you know what I mean? Like, take me somewhere else.
Yeah.
You know, like, sing panties off of cheeks.
You know what? I have to appreciate both yourself and Jay for giving us this opportunity to hear from you, and I guess it's you know, that's, if I'm taking anything from this, I guess one is what I hope a lot of other aspiring artists would do is to understand it's a business you're getting into. It's not just to be famous, but it's about a business. It's about a long longevity. It's about creating wealth for yourself and your family and stuff like that. Because it seems as if, based on what I'm hearing and the way I'm seeing you, is that you're in a place where you can do an album, not because you need to pay your bills, but because, you know, I want to put out music. And I think it's like going for a job interview, not because you need the job, because you've already got 2 other jobs, but it's because, you know, if they don't give me, that's not a big deal. And it seems if music-wise, it'll be much richer because you're not forcing it and stuff. So it's been...
You know, people used to ask me, like, when you coming out with another record? And I used to always be like stumbled, like, you know, I'm thinking about, but I always said to myself, when God gave me the cue to do it.
Yeah.
It was time to go.
Yeah.
And he gave me that cue. He gave me that sign. Like, I kid you not, I was laying down one day, and I have studios. I have recording studios. So he just told me, he's like, "You ready?" I kid you not. And I was like, "Really?" And I just heard it. Let's go. It's time to go. And then my first one is I had a record when I started the album. It was called Even Though I Walk Through the Valley of Death. And it was like, because I'm like talking to God, like I'm ready. And that wasn't, it's not even on my album, but it was like me giving me confirmation. Why would I do that record first?
Wow.
You know, and it was hard to, even though I walk through the valley of death, I fear no evil. Lord, please forgive me. Oh my God, that record is crazy.
Oh,
I just don't want it on my album because it'll be controversial. It's crazy.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, I'll have Jay get that to you too, man. You know.
Wow. So I mean,
then, you know.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, listening to all this stuff, though. I mean, how long have you? When did you start working on Black Disney? When did you get in the studio and say, "Okay, God, I've listened to you"?
2 months, 2 months, 3 months.
Oh, that's not long, guys. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. 2-3 months. Yep.
Wow.
Yep. I did. Let me see something real quick. Let me see. Where is it at? Let me see if I got it here. Oh, check this out real quick. Yeah, I know I had to do this. I have to make this shit again. That's what I do. Show a party like a black show. You my shorty on the good talk. I make moves on the regular. Shorty hitting up my cellular. Bing, bing. Oh, here I go again. I'm about to make the world move again. Lights and camera action pause. Put it to the beat, ain't wearing no cross. I stay smooth when they tell me that. The whole tell us where I beat them at. I'm in the morning, I'm a setting off. If you ain't quick to know, you gotta break it off. Shorty morning on my Instagram. Getting naked on my Instagram. Telling me she more than just a fan. She wants me to hit her on the webcam. On the left, I can get on the left. On the left, on the right. Let's go.
See,
I know I have to do this. I'm going. Looking like I can get it right. Yeah, I want to get a little tricky with her. Maybe I can get into the box with her. Get a little look, I want to dip with her. She be looking like I can get it with her. Yeah, I want to get a little tricky with her. Maybe I can get into the box with her. Get a little look, I want to dip with her. Yo, nigga, please, been around the world, came back and hit it. You gotta pump me up. You gotta pump me up.
see, this is in high school. This was the track. So I know that if it came out, you've got a generation of people that would say they remember the original track and just. But I mean this doesn't sound like something you just did over 2 months. This looks as if you went in and got Timbaland to come in, and they got Pharrell, and like they're putting them 2-3 million millions to. No, but it's
that's just work.
That's
just work.
That's some hit though. That's.
Thank you. It's just work, man. Me and my squad, we work. We talk. Next thing you know, we talk. It's time for me to go to work. Once I talk, I get the whole squad together, my shorty, and we listen. I listen to what they're saying. And then next thing you know, before they know it, I'm emailing them the song. And they like, wow. So they got used to it. They got used to just getting the records. Like, once I call my engineer is J. Cole's engineer as well.
Wow.
You know, and his sister is Issa Rae. She just got nominated for 8 Emmys. You know, wow. God bless and good luck with that. But you know, Animal, he loves the studio. He loves he mixed and mastered my album. You know, and when I call him and say, "Come on, it's go time," it's go time.
Yeah, I mean, but listening to that, I'm thinking, okay, I can see why people, the majors, are bidding for it, because that's. But that means that's a single. That's. I mean, it's almost like if it's marketed right, it can just go international kind of thing. So that's the pressure that that you have when you've come out with that stuff, and it's like, how do you make, even if you just released it on your own, it would just pick up and take wind. I mean, that's people are going to be saying, where's he been all this time? And all of a sudden you're just going to be hitting it out like that. Wow. So, but that's very different from the one that you played earlier, which was a little bit more New York. This one is more of a, okay, this one is, people, I can't remember her name now, the rapper with Puerto Rican, I can't remember her name. Her name escapes me, but it's on that sort of, it's a massive track. But I can't wait to see how you pull it off with.
Check this out. Let's go. Yeah. It's not again because I want to, never will I have to. Cause you know I'm the shit. I'm the cat that they wanna be around, homie. Cause you know I'm the shit. It's not again because I want to, never will I have to. Cause you know I'm the shit. I'm the cat that they wanna be around, homie. Cause you know I'm the shit. New York, no one in the building for sure. All these niggas sound premature. Trapping ass niggas and insecure. I'm sure, give me the check, give me the mic, give me the beat, that I like, give me the queen, let her be. Tell for the name. Let's take it outside and do it. And me, I'm ready to get to it. It's about that time, I ain't gonna talk you through it. Panties off, now let's walk into it. I want to nibble on your pocket. Lick your cat, slide up for the neck. The shit I do got my shorty wet. I'm undeniable, I'm not describable.
My goodness. I think the Jay's got a big hand on how to try and get this out and stuff. So it's as I said,
make sure you get some joints though, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, but and as I said, it's as a music connoisseur listening to stuff like that. I mean, sometimes you need to hear stuff once and know, well, is this going to make it and stuff. And with the Set It Off one, you play it because people haven't heard a track in such a long time. So when it comes out, it's like, oh goodness, that track, what's going on? So it means like the right video and the right sort of vibe that gets everybody feeling like even white folks in a video, not to.
Oh yeah.
It crosses over.
Oh, that's what I said. It's funny you said that because I told everybody on my conference this morning. I said we need some. I want some dark-skinned, dark, beautiful women. Yeah. I want like a Chinese, an Asian. Yeah. And I want a couple of white girls. Yeah. And some Puerto Ricans. Like got everything.
Yeah. Make it very multicultural and but even getting old folks in it too.
Yeah.
Dancing
well,
like,
this song is I'm gonna have. Check it out. Hold up. Okay. Girl, gotta give me something. If I don't get it, she ain't getting nothing from me. She wanna get with me, claim me in the city, wanna claim me in the city. Girl, gotta give me something. If I don't get it, she ain't getting nothing from me. She wanna get with me, wanna claim me in the city, wanna claim me in the city. She want me to take her home and bless her. She wipe the makeup on my fucking sweater. Picture from it right here in my fucking letter. Pretty chick, yeah, dick sweater. It's me, I got this feeling. Tonight I'll feel. Now shorty got a new Picasso. Me, I got a black piano. Double up, yeah, that's all my work. Wow. I'm masterpiece, I'm in the dirt. The blueprint, yeah, the face standing. The strings of my accordion, she plays for me. Hand done, glitter on her lips. 90 shining armor, Sergeant kicks. Not a worry, you can't fall. Spoiled her, but she needed more. The money in the safe is missing. I got that forgot he living in addition. I make her gave it too fast. I want to give her shit she never had. But I'm New York, a different
Price tag, ain't really ain't shit. She likes you, but she loves me. She kisses you, but she loves me. You think fuck what she did me. You ain't nobody else there. You think she did for me. You massage her, she massages me. She likes you, but she loves me. She kisses you, but she loves me.
Wow.
She gave it up. She let it all go.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I think it's amazing. The problem you have is the fact that you've got a lot of big hits, and people are doing singles, and I just wonder if you're going to do singles first. But yeah, I mean, people are going to be surprised and say he's been away all this time, and look what he's come up with. It's a mixed bag, and I just hope the marketing and promotion is right, because the music will stand by itself, but it's hopefully it can cross over to the, not because you want to get to the pop artist, but you want people to listen to good stuff.
You want people, and I don't make music just for one. You know what I mean? I make music for the world. It's my artistry.
Yeah.
Picasso didn't paint just to paint for white people.
Yeah.
But
I know that set it off.
So I got a Picasso in my house at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy, like how people put a stand on something and then they expect the world to say, yeah, I'm sticking to that. Man, listen, man, I've never been a follower. I make music for the world to enjoy. I love when I go to London, Japan, Europe, Germany, Australia, and just to see the people. Sometimes I remember I walked on the Wembley Arena. I never forget this. And I just walked out on the mic, real cool though. And I just looked at everybody like, damn. And I had to soak it up like, damn, I did this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, damn, I did this. And I did it with the help of a team.
Yeah.
With Uptown. I did it with MCA. I did it with a team. As long as you have the team that understand what you're doing, because you're the artist, then everything else, if they understand and move like you move, and knowing I can't take this back to father. Yeah. I can't take this. This nigga gonna look at me like I'm crazy.
Yeah.
I
mean, I do hope that the Set It Off one becomes a that is very multicultural stuff. Old and young, and it's because it'll sort of at least let everyone, because I said there's a generation of people that will hear the track and says, oh my goodness, I remember that track, and it'll just connect to it. So I mean, that's to me, that's a massive hit. But I want to thank you definitely for the time, for Jay for setting this up, but for you for taking the time to talk a lot. I mean, about the business, the journey, the music. I mean, it's but I mean, it's very inspiring to hear that even though we don't see you guys, it doesn't mean that you guys aren't making moves, and really, and listening to the stuff you're putting out there, it doesn't seem to make sense, because it doesn't make sense how good it is and how hot it is, because it's like, what, you don't expect that, and these are some really hit ones, as I said, big hits, and
thank you, I appreciate it.
Yes,
and anybody that want to get in touch with me, they can get in touch with me at the Real Father MC, at the Real Father MC, Facebook, Timothy Brown, but at the Real Father MC, and I'm gonna come back on your show. Halftime check. I gotta shout y'all out. Let's talk. And we're gonna have next time. I'm gonna have you set it up where you're gonna take calls from the listeners. Definitely. And I want to teach women around the world. Not teach them, but share the experiences of how to make a shake.
Okay.
It's a personal joke. It's a joke.
Okay. I was like,
but yeah, anytime you need me, I'm here, man. You just get that chair, and I'm rocking with you.
Will do. I mean,
I'd like to say thank you, man, for interviewing, and thanks for everything, for real.
Yeah, I mean, it's been an honor, and listening to the stuff. I'm not even going to be able to get the song off my head. Say Step It Off, because it's like I went right back to high school and like, oh man, that joint. So as I said,
I wouldn't be surprised if Jay don't have that at you already.
It's in his inbox. All the records are in his inbox.
Okay.
There you go. See,
I wanted to be in the top. I wanted to be, Billboard's #1, and I think it will be. right marketing.
Thank you. It's funny because Billboard just called us. That's crazy. Because I'm putting it out on my Instagram, like snippets.
Yeah,
and they're calling like, yo, when are you going to drop so we can start charting these records, man? What's going on? I'm like,
I think that would definitely. So, but anyway, I do thank you, and but I will definitely I'm blessed and honored from listening, hearing, and learning and stuff like that. And I look forward to the Uptown and Beyond podcast, and of course, we're all going to be waiting for the mini series and stuff like that. But definitely. Well, thanks a great deal, Father MC. Thanks, Jay.
All right, man.
All right, take
it easy, bro.
Will do. All right.
Please, man. All right.
All right.